go from one event and you see no Swordsoul, you come on over to the next event and you're like, holy crap, everybody's bringing Swordsoul! I'm going to be looking at the Core TCG regional breakdown for you guys. You guys should smash the crap out of that scrub and so you guys know miss out more awesome content. This breakdown actually tells a much different story. I don't know if Core was just destined to be that super heavy Swordsoul format, but you look at all these other regionals that have happened and you see very, very, very small amounts of Swordsoul. It's usually because there's more Rogue present. I've kind of noticed that maybe Swordsoul doesn't have the best matchups when it comes to the development of Rogue, because it kind of looks like you could get grinded out in some of those matchups, and that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. It's just, I feel like the variant actually struggles. Now, the interesting thing about all of these Swordsoul variants that topped this event was actually the fact that 10E Swordsoul was the dominant defining factor for this event, which first, second, third, and fourth all locked in Swordsoul. When your top four is all Swordsoul, like I said, this just tells a much different story. And then we had on the back burner here 3 Tri-Brigade decks. In combination, I always lump in like the Bird Up variants and things like that into that combination of things. So maybe some extended bird packages. We'll kind of take a look at what's going on there in a second. And then we had 1 Dragon Link deck out of this event too. What happened to Rogue, ladies and gentlemen? Core had no Rogue present in the top 8 whatsoever. And I don't think that that's a bad thing at the end of the day. But when you're seeing this much domination and force here between the powerhouse top Swordsoul list, you got to kind of look at this event and go, wow, meta really ran rampant for this one. So if you're like, oh no, Swordsoul's bad right now, this is just an abnormality, look, I think this definitely goes to prove that there is a very big push for this, all things considered. Let's go take a look at those awesome deck profiles, shall we? First place, winning the regional, was 10E Swordsoul. No real surprise here. Here we actually have the inclusion of Heavenly Dragon Cycle. I've talked about this card a little bit. One of the things that a few people were pointing out to me was the reason why this is such a powerhouse card is the fact that it actually tributes the monster. Alright, just tribute a war monster, add a war monster to your deck to your hand, or if you tribute a non-effect monster to activate this card, you can special summon it instead, but negate its effects. And then during the main phase of control, a face-up non-effect monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add a 10E card from your deck to your hand, and then you can only use 1 Heavenly Dragon Cycle effect per turn, and only once that turn. But thing is, you get an immediately tribute to add something else. That particular blank spot removal, giving you the ability to do that, is actually kind of nice. I also see down here that we're actually teching out Mind Control as well. This is actually kind of interesting. So this will give us the ability to kind of move one of the opponent's threats out of the way, and then we could link summon with it, anything else that we could particularly do, especially, you know, hey, you're playing the mirror match, you want to grab something, make a shaman along the way. You know, I specifically think that this would be more geared towards the mirror match than anything here. Triple Vessel expanding out here. I see that we're actually main decking double Nibiru here as well, and I think this is actually the first time that I've seen the inclusion of Nibiru in these lists as well. I don't think that's actually a bad thing at all. I know a lot of people look at Nibiru and they're like, play it or not play it right now. I also see that we are playing the 1 Synthana on this build as well. It is another level 4 that you can initially step through on your climbing capabilities for this deck. Also, shout out to only 2 Ecclesia. The card is very good, but as a starter going first, it kind of fails in comparison. And it looks like we're kind of starting to see more Droll push back in to the format as well here. So that is your first place 10E variant. Next up here was second place. Now, I see a little bit differences here. I don't see Synthana in this build, which I don't think is a bad thing. And I see that the droplets are still carrying through in here. I also see, man, droplets kind of being like that new little fresh flavor of the month for this deck, which I don't think that that's a bad thing per se. I just I don't know. That's actually kind of interesting. I see we're back on the 3 Ecclesia here. Messing around with the Ecclesia ratios, I don't think is a problem. I think you can get away with that. I also see that, like, our 41st card down here, Mr. Protos, is having a good time in here. There's the Droll and Lockbirds. I've definitely seen that Droll out of this week has just been insanity, man. Like, Droll has been a dang good card here. I'll see that we're also citing the Imperial Order. I don't think that that's necessarily a problem either. I think that you get a lot more advantage either way with main or citing this card. I just know that this is a card that you actually play. The biggest thing with this variant, though, you just board breakers all day long, baby. All right, between droplets, DRNMs, and all of this stuff, like your whole goal is to just pressure your opponent, and that means that you can break those boards, especially when you have things like Bird Up running around in the format, where you just have such an inherently hard matchup against it. Yeah, it actually is not all that crazy surprising to me. So that is your second place list out of this event. Next up here is the other 10E Swordsoul variant. This one actually is going on triple Heavenly Cycle here, which, okay, understandable. I see that we've chosen to actually extend out and play Chalice here. Now, my problem with Chalice is it doesn't feel as good as Droplet, but we are playing Droplet anyway with this, so it means we have 6 board break cards built into the main deck. Called by the Grave, between all the variants, I don't know, just don't feel... This card just is eh. Like, in the case of you have to open up Ecclesia, then I feel like that's fine. You know, because then you can't get ashed. You know, you have the call by, but it's a one-of at that point in time. And I guess it also makes sure that your desires can actually resolve. I also see that we're also not playing the Vessel either. We just opted for, like I said, the Heavenly Dragon cycle here. But, I mean, you just add a worm from your deck to your hand. Yeah, good times with that. But outside of that, between the 3 variants, you see like the subtle changes between the tech options with these builds. And once again, I don't think that that's a bad thing. It's just the main things here tell me that first place didn't like Ecclesia. Forbidden Droplets was very gas. And, you know, some of the builds didn't like Imperial Order, some of them did like Imperial Order. If that doesn't like show you like the general change between the overall structuring of the format, I don't really know what will at that point. So that's all very interesting to point out here. Finally, some Burb Up. This was Daniel Nguyen's 6th place finish with Bird. And Jack in the hand? Is that you, buddy? Okay, that's interesting. Here's the reason why this deck actually is doing good. If you guys haven't been, you know, paying any attention to Bird Up, they've actually been making a lot of use of Tri-Brigade Oath. And the thing that you care about this card is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one face-up spell or trap card your opponent controls, and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Now, hear me out for a second here. And you can only do that if you control a Beast Warrior and Wing Beast monster. Hear me out here. That is no fun allowed to evenly matched. Like, that card just... This card is so annoying to deal with. Alright, and it basically prevents your board from being broken. I also see here that we have board breakers built into this. We're also playing freaking Kinkaboyo in this bad boy as well. I don't know how much I like the inclusion of Kinkaboyo in this deck, but that's kind of interesting. I also see down here, of course, we have the Harbeast Featherstorms. Do not underestimate this card, ladies and gentlemen. I know we give this card a lot of crap for being a trap card, alright? And, you know, if you have the Harpy Link monster, you can activate this from your hand. So if you do somehow end up on a Conductor, then you can just go ahead and use that from hand on turn 0, I guess, so you don't get hand trapped. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. This card is very good, but it's very bad. I feel like the side deck here, much like everything else here, is just designed to get you out of bad situations. And there's Droll and Lockbird once again. After looking at like all of this weekend's results, frickin' Droll and Lockbird just gained so much explosive value. Also, should we feel bad about seeing Mystic Mind sided for this deck? Because I feel like in your really bad matchups, you need this. Also, shout out to Bird Sanctuary. You can target 2 Winged Beasts Exceed monsters you control, attach one of those to the other as material. And if you control an Exceed monster with 3 more materials, you can draw a card. Here's the thing though. It's just any Exceed monster. So if I have an F-Zero loaded up here, I get a free draw. So this is something I started to see like a little bit more locally. I'm not saying like they're the definitive like metagame innovators out here or anything, but having seen this like as a card that you could search at like the end stage of Celestine Wagtail to get an additional draw, is pretty freaking annoying. And the last list I have for you guys here is freaking Michael State's top 8, finishing in 8th place actually for Bird Up. Once again, you're going to see that inclusion of those board breakers. That's 2 variants now for this that I saw that they were looking at Dark Road No More and gone, this looks pretty good. I see that we have the double Celestine Wagtail, which is fine. Now, this build opted to not play the other Lyricalist spell card so that their draw advantage cut back a little bit. Now, here's the thing. See that we have Trap Tricks down here in the side deck, which means that those Featherstorms looking a lot more appetizing at the end of the day. And Michael actually went as far as to playing triple Ghost Reaper. I feel like that makes the mirror match a lot of fun, actually. More blowout cards are pretty interesting. So, not too dang bad, all things considered, out of a weekend wrap-up here for Core TCG. So, guys, what do you think? Please leave a comment down below. You guys think, smash the love crap about scrubbing. So, guys, want to some more awesome content. I'll see you beautiful faces back here later. There's some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out Vanquill40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by Vanquill40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out imcogames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.